Hello, and welcome back to Explain the Charts. Today is June 30th, 2025, and we're taking a close look at Bitcoin or BTCUSD. First, let's briefly discuss some current events and news that could be impacting Bitcoin's price. Recently, Bitcoin has seen some upward movement after Trump suggested not to worry about deficit spending. Analysts like Will Clementi have even suggested that these fiscal policies reinforce the bull case for Bitcoin and gold, positioning them as hedges against potential inflation and currency debasement. Robinhood launching micro Bitcoin futures contracts also adds accessibility, which could increase trading volume. However, it's not all positive, as reports suggest that only a few Bitcoin treasury companies may survive a potential death spiral, potentially triggering a crypto bear market. We'll keep an eye on those factors as well. Now, let's dive into the charts and see what they're telling us. Looking at the daily chart, we can see a significant price climb in February and March of 2024, followed by a period of consolidation and volatility. We see the large spike in early March, followed by some ranging. Focusing on the more recent price action, we can see it has fallen to the 60,000 range, where it seems to be stabilizing. There appears to be support around the 60,000 level, though we need to see more consolidation before it can be relied on. Now, let's zoom into the 1-hour chart for a closer look at recent price movements. Looking at the last few days, we can see a slight upswing followed by a drop. It appears to have bounced off a local resistance level around 63,000. It's also worth noting the low volume on the daily chart, so these levels may not be as sturdy as they may seem. Short term, if BTCUSD can break above that 63,000 resistance, a bullish move is possible. However, a failure to break resistance could lead to further downside, potentially testing the 58,000 level again. Long-term, the potential death spiral scenario is always something to keep in the back of your head, but analysts suggest it's not particularly likely. Ultimately, determining when and what price to trade BTCUSD requires careful consideration of both technical and fundamental factors. Monitor the news for further developments, especially regarding fiscal policy and adoption by larger players, but also keep an eye on exchange rates, mining, and environmental concerns. In recap, keep an eye on the 60,000 and 58,000 support levels and the 63,000 resistance. I'd put the likelihood of breaking the 63,000 resistance at 60% given the relatively bullish news, assuming that Trump's growth can stabilize the markets. If we see increased institutional interest and positive regulatory movement, breaking that resistance is likely. Otherwise, expect to revisit those lower levels. That's all for this episode of Explain the Charts. Happy trading!